and it's a very important one. As we can see what's going on with the technical analysis, we had a little bit of a consolidation here as Ethereum was up over 4,300. We've had a stellar bounce back here, and this is absolutely beautiful. And we're going to go over a message here this morning, and we're going to look more away from just what I do on BITUNIX, and we're going to look at the overall scheme of what I do portfolio-wise. I'm not going to hide anything from anybody. I don't care if you're general public, Telegram, or whoever you are. The message has been lost, in a sense, when I see trading patterns, trading styles that I don't believe are appropriate for where we're at with this looming alt season. Whether it were to happen now, 6 months from now, the bottom line is when this alt season gets going, this is going to be one that will legitimately change the way you perceive finance as a whole. From an economic standpoint, from a standpoint of maybe going to a 9 to 5 and feeling like you're paycheck to paycheck. You may still go to your 9 to 5, because I encourage everybody, even if you make money in this cycle, don't get rid of your paying job. And I only say that because you need a medium of income that continues to replenish your money, because what you invest is gone. Not because it's going to go to zero, but because you can never pull it out. Even if you were to sell a trade, it still stays in that portfolio. You are not to take it out. That is a completely different segment of money than what you're spending on your normal daily life. Maybe what you have in a safe or in your bank or in your vault or in your gold and silver and whatever else you have. Your assets are separate from your daily living. Even if you're broke, you don't touch the asset. You find another way, get a second job. That's why you have to have the steady income unless all else fails. So the reason I start out saying that is the market we're in right now, I see a lot of people simply either buying for 10 to 15% and trading off to another asset and say, I'm going to rinse, repeat, and do this and that, and getting caught up on drops and being like, well, what the hell? Why didn't this other one run? Or forgetting the fact that from a macro perspective, you can't keep bouncing in and out when you get to certain parts of an asset or a structure. And I see a lot of people in the Telegram, I think, not disrespecting Nick, but forgetting the message that he's sending about how good the macro looks. Because right now, with what we're setting up, there's no reason Ethereum can't go to 4,800 in the short term. So I'm going to stop talking about, oh, this is what I do on BITUNIX. No, you're going to hear about every single thing I own now. I'm not holding anything to the vest anymore. I'm not going to talk about I trade this and that. No, I'm not going to talk about entry prices because it's irrelevant. What's irrelevant is buying a structure. And if we're breaking into alt season, this alt season is going to make 2021 look like a child. It's going to look like 2017, if not better, is what this one's going to look like. Because we've been so suppressed for 7 years. That market in 21 was a joke. Yeah, we got a quick 1 or 2 month market cycle up. But notice how we didn't get the consolidations like in this market. And you have to look at the ones that have broke up, like XRP and Bitcoin and a few others, Solana, that had a AAVE for that sense, that have gone back up to 21 levels and then broke on some of them, as to where some are still in that big consolidation. So going forward, we're going to talk the micro, but we're going to pay attention to the macro portfolio. Like, if I'm being 100% transparent with this audience, if you want to know my portfolios, and I've condensed, I've taken some of my BITUNIX profits, and on deep drives now, I've taken off of BITUNIX and put it into my storage of other holdings. And it's come to the amount now. Like, I looked into one of the wallets now that I have on a different exchange for Algo, or what I'm holding through Algorand, and I just lend it. A lot of times I'll just lend it back to the Algorand itself and just collect rewards through their you can go to algorand.com and you can look into what I'm talking about, but I don't want to go deeper because that's a more evolved level of trading. But I'll pawn them back off to Algorand so that they can use them for a certain amount of time, and they reward you in a sense, let's just say. So, you know, I looked at it and it was a lot more than I thought. So it's like I started to get to the mindset, like with mining stocks, of every profit I had, even when I was swing trading, I'm starting to reinvest now into what I believe in. And the list gets smaller and smaller. Like, you're going to notice the list on the forgetting about section. Like, I don't know why all these are on here because on my phone it looks different. I'm taking all the ones off that are not. And I know it sucks for Theta and File and Quant and some of the, XCN and some of the other ones. But if I go down to a defined list, these are the ones I'm building on. These are the ones that would be built off of. Now, the bigger ones that if you talk about from a longer standpoint, I feel like it's necessary to say this because if I'm holding these and the market's going volatile, I think, it sends a different, but remember, we've been doing this with algo from 8 and 9 cents and IOTA from 10 cents and XRP from 34, but HBAR from 4 cents. And some of these we've been doing. So we've been able to build capital, but at a certain point, it's like, there's no point to keep swinging these assets. Like we've done what we need to do. We built the capital we need to build. So now it's just, you sit, you let this cycle play out. And if it breaks down, well, then you can sell it at a certain structural breakdown. And then you can try again lower and you're still up massively. So what it's come down to is it's basically what just sits there unless it tells me otherwise is there's 20,000 HBAR. I'm not even going to hold it to the vest anymore. There's 40,000 algo. And those would not be touched. And I've let them play up and down. Actually, I added more algo in the past couple of weeks. Actually, all of them because I just bought them back in the past couple of weeks. And now they're playing back in the cycle because I sold most of these back in January when I sold 75% of my stuff. And the majority that held on was just the XRP main bag and the XRP healthcare. Other than that, it was a crapshoot. But over time here, in the last few weeks now, I don't want people to miss out because of micro fears on a macro potential. And yes, this market, that doesn't mean it can't go down 30, 40% here, folks. That's the point. But at a certain point, we have to recognize Ethereum is trying to signal alt season here. We're at 4,215. And no, I did not buy XDC back yet. There's certain ones I haven't bought back yet. XDC, after I sold out at 10 or whatever it was at, I still think that it had a potential to come down. Now, it bounced off the 8.7, which is beautiful. This is our one scenario to stop us from going down to that 7.2. Because we talked about it yesterday. Remember when I brought this out and said, well, if we can form some kind of an ascending triangle instead, well, maybe we can make this into something more bullish than just a wedge. So if this is the case, defined, if you're watching, this is our bullish scenario. If we can now use this as an extended movement, and now maybe it turns into like an ascending triangle as we're bouncing, or more of I would like to say more of an ascending triangle instead of more of a wedge where it's kind of thinning out. I mean, if that's what's happening here, because we held the 8.7, that's a huge hold. So now we have to make a decision here, when the appropriate time. Now, what I would suggest, and I know this is contradictory what some might say, but I would suggest if you're going to wait, you buy support, sell resistance. So you can either buy here, and then if you get a clear, decisive break below, the problem is that might be a quick run down or you have to wait for a back test. You can even wait for a 9% or so movement, let it breach over the 9.6 and hold, and then just go from there as well. That would be your confirmation. And then instead of worrying about that breakdown, you might cost yourself a few percent on the top, but then that first move is going to be out to 11.8. Now, is the risk reward there? I don't know this morning because we have to see the market, but something tells me the fact that it held that 8.7 area is a big sign. It's a big sign because it could very well invalidate that downward structure. This is what we were hoping in the back of our heads because then it can create this inverse pattern if you're paying attention to this. And Define, I know you are right now. And I wanted to start with this because I seen you're in here. But you got this shoulder here, head here. Now, if this rounds out to a shoulder and a double bottom while simultaneously creating a new backtest uptrend at the 8.7 area, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, it literally bounced down to where we had it targeted. And there's a reason for that. If that holds, that's the savior, Brown. And that could be very much so building that pattern. So now it becomes a question. Is it even worth waiting to go down to 7.2, knowing that you could just sell if it breaks that structure? Or maybe you, instead of buying 150,000 tokens, you say, okay, I'll buy 100,000 tokens. So, but I'm trying to push the message here. We have to start looking at this like we did in 21 from the macro. Who cares about the micro movement right now? Fuck XRP in that sense, because I've been saying that I think XRP could go the opposite way of the market initially. There's better opportunities, but when you've got setups like, hell, let's go back to algo. When you've got setups that have been developing over a series of years, a number of years, and you have a setup that you know in time is going to play out like this, what are we talking about here? Yeah, no, it's not at 11 cents or 10 cents like when we were doing FOMO Fridays, winning Wednesdays back in 23. It's just not. And that's okay. But it's only at 24 cents. If I would have said back here, hey, guys, which I did, hey, guys, you're going to be able to buy algo at 20 cents, which I did, and I got called basically a Looney Tunes. What would you say right now? Honestly, what would you say right now if your past self came back and said, hey, and then your future self is talking to you, hey, past self, talk to my own past self again, because now we got future self looking at it and saying, what is wrong with you? You waited for it from $3. You bought it at 10. You were swinging it every time it got up to 40 and 35, but you forgot to buy it back to hold it for the rally all the way up because you were looking for some cheap money. If past self talked to further down past self and said, hey, you know, it starts with past and present right now, right? So the past would be like, okay, we're selling it up here, we're not buying it, or whatever the case may be, because we think we're going to get it down there. We don't care if it's at 10, 20, 30, 40, who gives a rat's ass? Look at that structure. And then we're going to play it all the way out until we get to $7. Current self says, well, we bought it at 10 and we sold it at 38 or 40, and then we bought it at 18 and sold it at 25, and yeah. And then future self says, how fucking stupid are you? You wanted to do that micro trading bullshit. You just cost us several $100,000 for what? 15 grand, you dumbass. And that's where we're at right now. And that's the debate that I start seeing my audience having. And we can't continue to have that debate. We're not going to let future self come back to our current self right now and say, you dumb motherfucker. Was it really worth that short 10, 15, 30%? No, it wasn't. Not when you're talking about thousands of percent here. Like, you know what you're talking about with algo. And maybe crypto never goes back there, but the setup is the setup, and this is exactly the framework I use for XRP, and you all remember. If you were part of this, this is the exact same forward thinking I had for XRP, and it was what allowed me the grace of sitting through it for 2 years, no matter the ups and downs. Even though we bought it at the bottom, so we didn't have to worry about the lower downs. But I mean, like, going to a 95 cents and then coming all the way back down to 38. That kind of a sit through. You see what I'm saying? But not stressing out and selling and buying. Because who knows? There's that one time, even if you do it great every single time, that you miss the buy and all of a sudden you cost yourself 6% of your tokens. But I know I'm not the only one thinking this, because some of you have been around since 21, and we talked about this time and how some would miss it because of something so stupid. Like, look at the ones who missed XRP at 34, refused to buy it at 38 on that big drop in 24 because they were convinced that they could get it again sub 20 or sub 30, even though that moment had passed. Now looking back on it at $3 plus, do you care if it was at 38, 47, 59? So do you really give a fuck if algo's at 18, 11, 24, 71, 45 cents? If it goes to $7, that's the point. We started to miss the message again, and I started watching my videos. I'm like, listen, Tom, like you might be doing stuff, but you got to have a better message here. Like, fuck that micro selling and in and out bullshit. It's too much at this point. So we're going to learn from mistakes before they happen here. We're not going to cost ourselves. And who knows how long this takes, but notice how we're getting closer to the apex. We're not going to cost ourselves a 2,700% move because we were afraid that it might go back down and retouch at 8 cents, which would be great. Because if we like algo, we can go back down with it, and at 8 cents, I can buy 100,000 tokens for cheap. It's only $800 per 10,000 tokens at 8 cents. So I'm tired of starting to miss the message here. So the psychological warfare here is that we're always going to want something cheaper. And honestly, we got to stop with the, oh, I can't buy it again because my average price was. The whole point of doing what we done was to maximize this until we got to the point of no return. Well, guess what, folks? We're getting close to the point of no return. The apex is June of next year for algo. That's not even 10 months from now. What is that, 10 months? You've got 10 months for this whole thing to do what it's got to do. Or it breaks out earlier, which it's in breakout area. This is insane, I think. Stop seeing XRP here. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. Stop seeing me talk about XRP. Oh, no, I talk about it plenty. All my content's based around it, but in the lives, I like to go deeper as well. If you read between the lines, there's a message here. XRP's already made the move we're talking about a bunch of them make. And it's going to make a bigger one. But for bang for your dollar, it's elsewhere right now. Buying XRP at 318, it's not at 34 cents. So yeah, some of my attention is going to be focused elsewhere. And if some can't handle that, I apologize, but that's too bad. In this regard, it's too bad because I only focus on IoT, ISO, and very small amounts of AI, which is the next frontier in the next alt season. ISO and particularly IoT as well are going to be the next surgers. Like everybody talks about meme tokens in past. That's not this cycle. This is a utility cycle. We've been waiting for 5 fucking years to get here. It's a utility cycle. And once it happens, that's why XRP, a utility token, is up at 319. Notice, how many people are waiting for the consolidation back under $1 who haven't gotten in? They might be waiting until they end up skin and bone, no skin and just bones, and sitting there saying, I'm waiting for XRP to go back under $1, and they're just sitting there. It may never happen again. That's why we're consolidating so high. Doesn't anybody find it a big red flag for XRP if they think it's going to go down significantly under certain levels? Sure, I could see 250. Maybe I see $1.50. Who knows? But I think $1.50 is even becoming more far-fetched the longer we go here. Gaps only fill at a 90 to 95% rate, which means, like, between 5 and 10 per 100, right, are still left open because there's so many gaps left. Hold on, I gotta let my cat out. My cat is going nuts. It's like Sylvester. Come here, Ghost. You wanna go outside? Come on, Ghost. Oh, you're fine. I'm only 5 feet away from the door. I can certainly get up and let the kitty out. You're doing your thing outside. So that's the message here. That is legitimately the message. So, like, the laser focus, XRP and XRP healthcare, they're going to sit until we get to the end of time. I don't even have to worry about that anymore. We did our job, but now our job is for Algo and IOTA not to lose track, in HBAR, in VeChain, and for me, ZIL. For some of you, not, but I love ZIL. For XDC, for XLM even, XLM's got to have its utility spot as well. So we built a lot of money off of the back of XLM from 10 cents all the way up. But we swing it, so at least make room for 10,000 tokens. You've already got the money from profit from this token. What I've learned is I can't have the wandering eye to so many different tokens. So they end up going off the list. Axelar, I think, is a good one to have, but because of where it's at, we still have to make it prove it. So technically, you don't have to buy this one yet, because if that bear flag plays out, maybe, I don't know if it will, because I do see an inverse pattern. But as far as what we're talking, like, if you don't like Axelar and you don't have money for it, forget about it. Forget about it. It's got connections with Ripple and it's cheap and I think it's a steal. But if you don't have the money, forget about it. It's not an essential. You don't need it. Just like Epic, forget about it. That's not part of your essential bag. Yeah, it might be a steal, but you've got to focus on Algo for the ISO, IOTA, VeChain for the IoT. If you want to go further into the IoT, the less talked about ones, take opportunity with data and XYO. They're deeper in the ISO that don't get talked about. I really do like Dent. I like Band for the scarcity as well. So those are ones that I've decided that those are part of my positioning. And it came at the expense of others. And yeah, I might not be able to put $100,000 into one token, or 500, or $20,000 into each token, but I can have $3,000 in so many tokens. And then I can let it play. Maybe you can do $500 per token. You don't have. Here's the other thing. And if you're part of the Telegram, please read very carefully today, the Sunday's edition, because there was a very important message that Define wrote up in this that we talked about yesterday, and then a prayer even in the group ended up pointing to this. But if you're in the Telegram, read this closely. This is my thought of the week, and I'm actually going to read it to everybody, honestly. I'm going to read this to everybody because I found this to be very, very noticeable. So, and you can go through and make sure you read the weekly edition. I believe this is the number 4. Our fourth number, yeah, number 4 already, which is crazy. And there's a lot of stuff. Our members of the week, you know, and all this. And Frankie Fresh was our standout member. Our shout out, we're honoring top contributor. And Janine, you made it in there. I did not forget about you because the significant other has been very, 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 very supportive of us as well. So you both made it in there. So, but anyhow, I want to read this. I've noticed something important in our crypto community. Many get caught up in comparing themselves to others. And this is where I was going with the next point. So I'm reading it from here because I really liked how he wrote it. And this is the Fine Group. He does a great job. Many get caught up comparing themselves to others, envying what others hold, or feeling like their own portfolio isn't enough. This wandering eye can distract us from what truly matters. Remember, success in crypto isn't about instant wealth or matching someone else's holdings. It's about knowledge, patience, understanding, and the confidence that comes from starting small and steadily building over time. Don't worry about what others will have. Focus on your own journey and start creating your own legacy. That's what truly counts. So that's I truly believe that. And then it's the prayer that right after I talked to Define, literally moments after, IQ shared his weekly prayer, and listen what he decided to share. And look at the connection. Heavenly Father, you crafted each of us with intention, breathed life into our souls, and called us good from the beginning. In a world that often tells us we are not enough, remind us that we are already loved, already chosen, already yours. Lord, quiet the voices of comparison and shame. Teach us to see ourselves through your eyes, redeemed, cherished, and wonderfully made. Help us to find peace in our imperfections, confidence in our calling, and joy in our journey. May we walk boldly in the truth that our worth comes not from what we do, but from who we are. Amen to that, and thank you, William, for that. But you see how the Lord spoke to not just me, but also to William in the same moment, in the same light? That's the power of faith. And when a community has more than one person speaking the Lord and speaking the message of our Lord and Savior, not only does Yahweh or Yeshua become present in our actions, God pushes us in the right direction. I firmly believe that. And there's no possible way that I had that same message moments before IQ shared it, because all Define was doing, he asked me about what I wanted to do for the edition, and then he went to William for the weekly prayer, and he sent me a message saying he had chills, Define, because literally going from my message to what William decided to share, we both must have been touched by the same spirit. And we gave for the same guidance on the same moment, at the same time. It was so, and it's touching because it even told me you have to do a better job of teaching the overall prosperity here. The micro is great, but we still have to remember the macro accumulation. This is what we forgot to do in a sense. Well, we didn't have the money in 21 and 23. We didn't have enough money to do everything we wanted. But in this time around, we have enough in a sense if you've been around from the beginning. But then in a sense, we also don't, because if we have the wandering eye and we try to build too much into too many things, it comes unglued. And the last point is stop with leverage. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 5, 7, 10x. I don't want to hear about it. You know why? Because your portfolio, even if you're 2x, let's say the market moves a 5% correction. Well, now you're down 10 and you're probably not looking to accumulate because you don't actually hold that in spot. Even if you have to do it in futures market and you do it in 1x, at least it's your position not to lose. You just can't transfer it off the exchange, which if you trust the exchange is fine. But you can still add into it at 1x. That's another message. So my holdings of IOTA right now, which I hope to continue the building, is, what was it, 30, I believe it's just over 30,000 now. And I'm going to continue that building. And if it goes down by 50%, well, now I can buy another 30,000 at 3,000. Oh my goodness. So this is the message. Until this cycle breaks down, we're going to look for the opportunity of building. So I think this is what we need to do. I think this is what we need to do. And I think the message I heard, and I'm going to be used as a beacon here. And I don't care about the micro transgressions. We've already done enough through holding for long enough to where now it's about understanding that we build these positions at the right time. You strike with precision. Bottom line, good morning. 11:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, August 10th. 2025. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Just look at band, for example. Building from where we started at 61, 62. Who cares if we're dropping up and down? It's up 12% roughly or more. Remember Dent? When we started because of mirror at 00064 or 62 or 58 or whatever it was, we're up like 30%. We can let it consolidate. Who cares? Let it do its job. Look how cheap all this is. With XYL, we're just now starting to build it. We're just now starting to build it. So let's see what we look at. We have a fundamental setup that's been going on. Looks like an ascending formation. Now, if you're not in it, because it's not one of the essentials, like for me, I had to say, Tom, what is your goal here? Is it an essential? For some, it's not. For me, it is, because it's an IoT. Now, I've watched this token all the way up here. I've known about it for a long time. We talked about it a while ago, and it was way up, and we talked about waiting for... Now, here's the thing. Now it consolidates all the way down. And this is another moment where I had to have a talk with myself and say, listen, Tom, you weren't buying it at 4 cents because you're waiting for this area. And now you're getting it for 22 cents on the dollar. And what are you complaining about? Or 23 cents on the dollar. What? Because you think you're going to get it a little bit lower? Let's just be honest. So you can get it 21 cents on the dollar instead of 23 cents on the dollar. Like, this is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about stupid shit. We're in that point. And if they break down, well, we have a whole nother problem, don't we? We have a whole nother problem if these whole patterns do break down on us and these inverse setups don't pan out. We have a whole nother problem. A whole nother problem. But for all intents and purposes, folks, like, look how long this pattern's been going on. And like, and I'm trying to focus deeply, and then we're going to go to XRP and see what we need to do. All you need to know is XRP right now, and it's so simple. And some of the reasons I don't talk about it over and over is because I can only repeat myself so many damn times with XRP. But there's so much opportunity out here, and I'll be god darned if my audience misses that because they think XRP is the only game in town. I've never preached that it's the only game in town. In fact, I preached that it was, at the time, the only thing you should be focused on to build a portfolio. Remember the message? You can buy XRP here, and when it 10x's, you can simply sell it and I won't be mad, and you can use it to build your portfolio all around if you don't want to hold it. I said this in 21 and 23. And now look what happened. XRP, to our pleasure and our satisfaction and our thank you, outran the market by 10x. And because we were suave some in 23 and then in 24 again when it gave us 38 cents, we were able to build all of this off of XRP's back. Just think about that. And still have our 10,000 tokens. So when people say, what did XRP do for you? It's built me the ability to buy $30,000 in other assets while still unanimously holding over 10,000 of its own of XRP. It changed my world. So I say, are you going to simply say I'm XRP future millionaire based on if XRP itself gets me there? Or am I future millionaire because XRP allowed me the wealth to build into all these other tokens plus what I started with? Think about that message. That's the ultimate message. You start with one and you take the profits and start spinning them by maintaining in the one you had. It's the ultimate message. It's exactly what I've done. And I told everybody in 21, if you stay around long enough, you're going to understand what I'm talking about by building a portfolio with XRP. And you don't have to worry about anything until you do what you need to do with XRP. That was my message early on. I think I didn't really know how to say the message because I was building it in real time, what I was doing. But the message remained the same over the last almost 5 years now. And I've never missed a day since the March 24th of 2021. So I think that gives us a lot of credibility here because I'm always here. And I do it for free. So I hope everybody appreciates this message. But look where we're at too. This apex here, if we look at it from the top wick, it's a little different, but I might choose to do it from lower. Only because we came up, back down in the weekly and back through, so that was an overzealous run up. So I like to use the evidence of the second part of the rejection as being the sustainable hit. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. So I would say January of 27 is probably the end apex point of this pattern, in my opinion. That's my opinion, and it's only my opinion. So then if we start building a pattern, you know, you can start to see how we started to get to some of this. But we can use it like this. I just want to go up from the cup because I don't want to transcend anything that I've already put up because there's a reason for it. But imagine we build the cup properly, and then we break out. This is all I ever did for XRP, the forward projection, folks. So, and who knows? This may never happen, right? Maybe this IoT token never gets its movement. But this is not. It's only got 13.900. And I think 97% of them are in circulation already. So, let's see. XYO max supply. I think I'm right about the supply. Okay, I think I said 13.9 billion was its max supply. And 13.476 billion are in circulation. That's about 97%. I think I'm pretty close. I'm pretty good with my fundamentals when I know them. So, and I've been studying this one since last December, January, when I seen it and I realized, and then all of a sudden BITUNIX listed it and I'm like, oh my God. What the hell is this? I can't believe this. It's a miracle. Now, if we go into the daily, we might be able to see this a little bit differently. Like, we can go up there. I think I like that, though. I like that. And then we got the micro setups. I like this a lot. I really do like this. And we're being squeezed right now. We're being squeezed. And, yeah, maximum pull down to advanced position would be 0.005, which is about a 50% pull down if this breaks. But you're still well within the uptrend. So, if you haven't... I just think... Now we're taking a risk to not push the message. So the message will remain strong on what I'm trying to push. And until further notice, everything I talk about, you'll just know that's my plan. And we very well might see a big pull down. Big opportunity if we do. Big opportunity if we do. I'm going to go through some of the comments. I'm going to go through XRP first so that we can look at some of the levels. And so that we can get on the right page. I know it was 32 minutes. It's a long message I had this morning. But there's a reason I think you all understand why. It's a strong, it's a vibrant, but it's a needed message, in my opinion. So, and the big thing is, I personally like, I like the idea of staying with spot. It makes me comfortable. And it allows me to have the right framework in my own head. So, like, when you look at things like, yeah, I could leverage ZIL. And instead of having, I don't know what it is, a couple 100,000 ZIL, I could have 1 million. But I'd rather have 1x and know that I've got 2,300 roughly into it. I think it's 2,300. And then I've got about 2,500 worth right now because it's 100,000 VeChain. So I'd rather just have it like that, personally. Instead of saying, oh, well, I 5x VeChain so I can get 5x ZIL. It's not real, though. It's not real. And in my own experience, it costs you money over time because you're not building. So my own hope is now, if we go down, I can just build these massively over what I've done over time and just not worry about it so much. Because the macro view, you're going to get killed in the micro. It happens every time. Wow, Alex Carbonell, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. That is certainly unexpected. But message received, I suppose. Thank you so much. In your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Yes, don't forget to join the Telegram. Look at the YouTube. I can't click on the post because somebody will splice it. But go on here on my YouTube channel. Hit the post, and in there it'll have a Telegram link. Please join us in the Telegram. And you'll just have the ability to join this. And we give it to people in Tom's Army. We used to let everybody come in, but there were so many people splicing my name and trying to steal from my audience that I had to put a protocol in place. So I figured the ones who paid it forward would be most utilized anyhow. There are exceptions to the rules. There's a few people that are not part of Tom's Army, but are part of it, just not on a monetary basis, who are struggling, but are good people that are in here. I'll never say who it is, and you'll never know. For all you know, it could be me. But we have a lot of stuff. The Technical Lounge with Nick Morales, he's fantastic. If you want to do TA outside of what we do and see a different version. We're very similar, but a lot different, but still come to the logical conclusions together at the same areas, just in a different way. We got the content for YouTube, so if YouTube's not telling you, you can always get it there. Group trading setups. We have a help desk, security center for the flagging. Genius Bar, we have a think tank. We have under construction, which will be the new copy trading, which I think sooner rather than later. If people believe in my philosophy and want to run with my philosophy, so be it. If not, well, me and Define can do it together with nobody else then, and that's fine. So yeah, that's the message here this morning, and I think it has to be met by all of you and myself. McMichael, start over because I can't replicate the message. It came to me and I spoke it. You got to watch it from the beginning on this one, everybody. Alec Tony, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation and also being a very, very important part of this community. And also in Tom's Army now for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. It's been nice getting to know you. A lot of people. Rick, welcoming along with Syrian and Define Group. 3 of our very trusted mods in here. Define Group and Syrian in the Telegram as well. Rick's been with us since a very long time. Tom, I have $500 to spend. Any suggestions? I would say based on what I've been saying is a pretty good idea of my suggestions. You have to read between the lines. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only at the end of the day. So the message I give is only what I do in my own personal portfolio. So either learn from the mistakes I am making going forward or relish in the fact that I've given you a golden ticket and basically a handbook step by step of what I've learned in my 41 years. And only about 6 or 7 of them have been in crypto. But I've had about a 15-year learning curve when it comes to trading. I've lost a lot of money, but made a hell of a lot more. How you got to learn to understand the value of it in trading. And then that's what teaches you when you have a $30,000 in front of you, why you don't just put it on a single asset. Or why you don't just put it in a single 5% range. You just say, this is where I like it. I can't look at the portfolio every day. But if it goes down $2,000, it's my job. With my job to come up with that money that I've lost. So if you want to have the millionaire mindset, if you have a $25,000 portfolio and you lose $2,000 over the next month, it's your job to build it back to 25 and buy stuff that you already own and reinvest. If you think it's really what you think it is, and you've nailed it, you shouldn't be afraid to invest over time. And then you just have to think about the longevity of it. You're going to continue to bring that average down, keep the portfolio the same, and every microscopic jump up, you're going to say, oh my God, I'm at a new level. I think that's the biggest trick of all. That's what the rich people do. Hey, I bought in at the wrong spot. I'm down 10 grand. Let's throw 20 more at it. And now I got more in the portfolio. It's psychological. Your portfolio shows more. You don't care how much you're losing. Do you? If the portfolio shows more than it started with a month ago because you've been doing your due diligence of adding if it goes down by any means necessary, whether you got to collect cans or whatever, sell a piece of shit car that you don't need, whatever, get a second job. That's the trick. I actually learned that in the mining stocks, not in crypto. Mining stocks taught me how to trade, and XRP solidified what I was thinking through the mining sector, literally. And now when I see it all play together, it's like it truly all plays together. I don't know what's going to happen with gold this week in the futures. The futures for December is almost at 3,600 right now. Yeah, you heard that right. The futures goes out 3 months roughly, and it's up over almost 3,600. So I don't know what's going to happen Monday with gold and silver. I really don't. But we're going to find out tonight when it opens tonight. I'm going to be excited when we do the live tonight. Let me continue through this because I'm going to run out of time here. Because my son's getting his feeding, but you know as well as I do, he's going to come out here and be like, Dad, get off. And he's special needs and nonverbal, so he has his own way of doing things. But he definitely gets the message across, that's for sure. Frankie Fresh, good morning, along with Jason Whipple, Alex, Tony. Thank you all for being part of Tom's 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Frankie Fresh says, hello and happy Sunday to everyone in this great community. I don't know what I would do without all of you wonderful people in my life. God bless you all. Amen to that. Amen to that. I feel the presence of God becoming a lot more within this community and also the spiritualness going up in our community. Makes me feel damn fucking proud. Excuse me. Let's see. Jack, hold the line. Yes, sir. Ben B, Crazy Pole. Thank you for being in Tom's Run for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Defined Group, thanks for being a very trusted mod, as I've said. Thanks for being in Tom's Run for over 3 months plus with the XP Media. He says, hello, everyone. Hit that like on the way in. Consider joining Tom's Army and join us in the Telegram. Seriously missing out not being in the Telegram. And you know, this humble son of a gun, I wanted to send him a little bit of something on Cash App one day. And this was a while ago, so he's not going to care if I talk about it. And I said, hey, I want to send you something so you can go out to dinner with your family. And he refused. He said, you've already done too much that you don't even know about helping. And I'm assuming it's monetary gain from trading and learning the markets. He's doing it, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, you guys are doing it. I might be helping with knowledge, but you're making the decision, the psychological decision. For everyone like Defined who comes in and betters themselves, there's another person who comes in and tries to circumvent the system and starts getting the unsavory eye towards leverage because they want to earn too. It happens every single cycle. And then some of those people can't participate in the cycle like they wanted because they set themselves back, either all the way back to the beginning, back to past cycles, or they just don't have any capital anymore. Instead of just slow and steady wins the race. It's just slow and steady wins the race. There's no easy way to making wealth. For anybody who says there is, they're full of shit. Some people might make easy money, but that's not the right way. If you're making money off your fellow human, that means that your wealth, even though, yes, that's abundance for I, that means I take from my whole community for I, instead of taking from the knowledge pool from all of us and what I've gained, what you've all gained, and have a universal plan to where we can all partake in it for free every single day without fail. And we can universally become a community that is abundance for all. And for the trust you've all put in me over the years, I can't even thank you enough. To put your hard-earned money, your monetary value, and say, I trust this guy, I don't know why. And now it's a little more clear in 25, almost 26. But in 21, I used to come on and say, you have no reason to trust me except my word that I'm giving you. That means nothing now, but will in a few years. Because I knew it was a voice different than the rest of the space. And for that, I mean, we've grown to 45,200 subscribers. We're stuck at 45. We lose people just as fast as we gain people in these times because people don't want to hear the true message. But the ones who do, they push that message, and then we get a little bit stronger and a little bit closer. Every person who joins that Telegram, every person who joins Tom's Army, we're one thinking brain. We can become stronger. We're like one organ. And the tighter we become, the more transparent, the more spiritual, and the more connective. How can we lose? We know every single market. We know every single token. We know every single bit of news because people are just as passionate as I am in this community. And they're bringing their own passion. And now they understand the passion they need to focus on if you're part of my community. I don't care about all the meme tokens. I don't care about leverage trading. I don't care about it all. I care about hardships. I care about hard work. But what I care about is Internet of Things, the ISO protocol, so the ISO tokens that are available when that goes fully online, the Internet of Things, because it connects all smart everything, smart city, smart utilization, smart tech, all of it. Robotics, all of this things that are coming that we don't want to deal with, it connects it. So we need to be, and then AI. But there's one more section, which is why certain tokens do certain things, and they have certain protocols, like with real world assets. That's where Band comes in, and that's connecting it all. They're like the trial one. Remember when Blockbuster went to Netflix? That's basically what Band is. We're going from meme tokens to real world asset style tokens that we can actually roll with. That connects it all. So yeah, Band is, in hindsight, it might be very cheap. We just have nothing to go on because it's so early. Am I going to in the future probably kick, and this is the message I missed, at $1.65 because my eye said, oh, it might go to 90 or $1 to reach. We seen it at what? And it went to $1.65 and now it's rare. Like, that's just stupid in my own head. I had the money sitting there for like 2,000 tokens right there at $1.65. Easily. But because of my own, that's why I'm saying this message has to be heard. Because I think I'm not kicking myself in the future. I am not going to kick myself. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do it in the future. So let me look at my IOTA real quick. And yeah, it sucks that we have to build it on BITUNIX in the futures, but we do it at 1x for a reason. We do it at 1x. I could do it at all different levels. And I remember looking at it and saying, oh, I could have 222,000 if I just bring this up to like 7x. Oh, yeah, just 7x. So after what are you, a fucking idiot? After a 12% move, you go liquid. You're liquidated. You might as well just take the 30,000 tokens. Stop being freaking greedy and 7x in it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not meant to have 222,000 tokens with my portfolio. So let's not rush into it and leverage. That's the point. And please fall down to 15 cents so then I can build up towards that level the real way. And that's the message I started to lose. Not with just the audience, on myself. I started to forget the message. I don't know when it happened. I don't know why it happened. But it happened. And there's no shame in saying, that's not okay. That's not okay, and I apologize for it. And it won't happen again. Julie knows it too, because she's seen what I started doing the last few weeks, and she's like, you finally figured it out, didn't you? Kind of thing. And I'm like, in a sense, but I haven't figured it out a way to tell my audience boldly that I don't give a fuck if you're sitting through this drop or not. We're doing it together because we're building something bigger if it happens. Or you're waiting for the drop. Like I said yesterday in my Telegram and on here, I said wait for the pullback on Ethereum because there was a gap, and it happened, and then we got better deals. But it didn't fill the whole gap, mind you. It just came down to some of these big support structures. So I'm very happy with what's going on right now. I'm very happy. Like, that's the thing. Like, I am a very happy man with what's going on in the market. Like, coming back, my future self is going to say you overachieved. You overreached on algo, and you overreached on IOTA, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That's what my future self is going to say. I don't know why you overreached so much on algo. Initially had more than IOTA. I don't know why. But there must have been a reason I was thinking. I think I was pricing an area. But I finally get it. I tried to teach myself in the last cycle, but it finally came to fruition here. And I think it was just reading what everybody says and seeing the struggle everybody has. And I started to realize, like, our struggle is because we're worried about we're short. It's all short-term worry. There's not. That's why I had to remember to push the message of it doesn't matter if you're in 2, 3, 5, 10x. It's all the same. It's not a spot position anymore. You can have a 1x. That's still a spot position, even if it's in the futures. It works the same way. You can't be liquidated. The only difference is you can't take it off the exchange. Who cares? Eventually, if they put it in spot, then you just sell it out of the 1x and buy it in the spot. You know, so that's the truth. That's the truth. That's my own truth this morning. How about that? My own truth is I was even screwing up. I had the wandering eye. I thought it could be done a different way, forgetting the actual basics that got us here. And I think that happens often when you start to think you know too much. And I had a conversation with myself and said, you think you know it all, don't you, huh? By knowing it all, what's going to happen is you're going to miss it all. Let that sink in. Sure, you might have a couple that you won't sell, but it's supposed to be like that with the rest. If you believe in this, in the digital, in the Internet of Things, in the ISO, you believe in it or you don't. And I had to convince myself. I went through every single chart and said, look, asshole, they're 95%, 90%, 85%. You're getting it for 5 to 15 cents on the dollar from 22, 21, 23. What do you want? You're getting it for 25 cents on the dollar on most assets from January. What more do you want? It's funny, it's at 222 on Ethereum during that whole talk. So what more do I want? Nothing. And for me, the wandering eye is wanting more than I can afford. There's so many tokens out there, so many things I want. But I know the numbers I want for certain things. Like, I'm not going to sacrifice not having 5 million dent or 5,000 band. I'm just not going to say, I'm not going to sacrifice not having 500,000 XYO or 40,000 algo or 30,000 IOTA. It's not going to be sacrificed. If I got to do more work to build more capital going forward, it's going to have to happen. But I'm building it in the 1x. And over time, I think what ends up happening is not only I, but this whole community ends up speechless when it's all said and done. That's what I think is going to happen. I really do. I think we're all going to end up speechless when this is all said and done. And that's the goal. We got a micro opportunity for real laser-like purchases if these do end up dropping, and additional things too. No, I haven't got anything from BITUNIX. And I've read through all of it, and they have their license up to date with the USA for they're an exchange that has basically got their license in the US, a little different than the rest. They're for moving assets, for managing and moving assets. So that they've been recognized by the USA as a medium exchange. Is basically what it comes down to. UK Felon Mo, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. If I missed anybody, I apologize. David Huff, welcome in. John and Deb Wilson, good morning and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Jarelli, good morning. Hamza and Steven, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Alex C, good morning and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Syrian, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with Mark Caston. Much appreciated. Syrian, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Jorge, thanks for being in Tom's Army along with the Cannabis Podcast for over 6 months with the XP Predictor and also a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Says, hello, people. Hello, Tom. Everyone hit that like button and consider subscribing to Tom's channel for the best technical analysis on YouTube. I appreciate that. Florida Attorney, welcome in. Brian Crow, good morning and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Love it. Jay from Mix, hope your day's going well. Wish everybody a well day in here. I love it. Campbell Vision, good afternoon. The Gatman, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XP Diamond Hands badge. King Christopher, good morning. Ryan, good morning. I have for years looked into XPR, and if they were available, that's one that I would own on BitUniX, but it's not. I don't think it's on any of the exchanges that I use. I've looked and looked and looked. When would you take profits on Ethereum if you bought it around 1,300? Honestly, I would take my initial investment back now. It's 400% up. And with the emergence of alt season, get your money back in your pocket that you paid for it and let it ride. And then you could always use that profit from your initial investment. So basically at this point, what I'm asking you to do is sell 25% of your portfolio. You're up 400%. I'm asking you to sell 25% of your portfolio to get your money back and ride with the other 75. And what I would do then, if you listen to what I'm saying, I would absolutely ride that until it comes back down to 3,554 and breaks it, leaving you with a clear almost 300% profit. But remember, you already took 25% back. So if it did break down and this headed off for whatever reason, that's just my opinion. Otherwise, you got to ride this, brother, to alt season. If this doesn't break back below there in the macro view, this should go up to 7K. I would hate for you to give away easy money. But you got to take care of yourself and learn. In investing, you have to pay yourself. This is how the rich get richer. This is how the broke become wealthy. And this is how the ones who have a 9 to 5 end up advancing their positions. So that would be my advice. So, but my son's up, everybody. I'm going to leave it at that because he's going to want to come out here and hang out with Daddy. Thank you so much, Joy McCaffrey, for the $10 donation and being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP. Oh, I'm very confident in DGB. Just no availability for me until they fix their actual Digibyte wallet or give me an advancement on BitUniX with DGB. Or on AI Vor, if they put it, I would buy it too. But until that happens, there's nothing I can do right now. But you can even wait. I mean, you don't have to sell 25% on Ethereum. You can say if it breaks below 3,993, I will. How about that? Or I mean, 4,143 if you want to ride it all. But I'm just saying, good fundamentals is to pay yourself back. And you're up 400%. This would be a great time to take 25%, pay yourself back, and have a 75% of it sitting intact. Not having to worry about what happens because you've already paid yourself back at the end of the day. Unless you don't want the tax implications. I get that too. Vicky, thanks for joining Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge. I'm about to end this too, so I'll go out with you both, okay? With the emoji badge and me being abducted within the next 5 minutes, Julie.
Okay. And then I'll change my shoes.
Yep. And Vicky, don't forget to join the Telegram. Go to the YouTube, my YouTube. Click on my homepage. Click on Tom's Army badge, the symbol, my emote, and then click on the post section. There will be a link for the Telegram. I would show everybody, but unfortunately, people have been splicing it when I show it, and they've been trying to scam my audience, and I don't appreciate that. That's why we have the protocols in place. We didn't have to do that until 375 members, but we were getting sick of having to go through all the nonsense. But my opinion for your question is to sell 25% here and get your money back. You're up 400% from 1,300. and it's time to pay yourself back. And then if it breaks down below 3,553, you might have to just call it a day. But you can level it too. You can pay yourself so much per section if you want to, but at least pay yourself back. You can pay yourself more if you want, but I'm of the you pay yourself back when you get to the right spot. And this feels like the right spot to me because it is a 25%. 400% is about where I like to do it as well. If you remember, XRP went 10x, but I believe I first paid myself back with that second bag to pay myself for my first and second bag when it was about 4 or 5x. And then I had a ton to ride with still. So I sold out about 35-40% of that second bag and then rode the last 60% of the bag all the way up to almost 350 before I got rid of it completely. But now I have my original one, obviously. Well, I don't want to keep telling the story, but from 34. So yeah. So I'm going to go. The Telegram link is on the website. Thanks again. Oh, Alex, it's on my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, and then where my XRP Future Millionaire thing is, you just click on my emote on the top. This is my YouTube channel, my page, and then it'll bring you up to this section, and you'll see all the stuff you can do on my channel. Just click on the post section, and then you'll be able to find it. Oh, you guys are welcome for the awesome lab. I'm glad that helped. But with XRP, just if you're in for the first time, it still is my main focus, but we've already done what we need to do with XRP, so now we wait. And we look for the other opportunity that hasn't happened yet. But right now, if XRP does hold this double bottom, you know, you could be looking at an extended move up past $4, but the short term, if this doesn't break down, which it could, which it started to, because the macro double bottom is like this, the micro, even more micro, was this short-term one that could still be building here and ended up coming down a little bit farther to form the double bottom after. But if this pulls up, you have a technical target of 361 roughly. And then longer term in the micro, you have a target of like 420. So, but if it breaks down and we don't get 320 back, that's an extremely important pivot point. That's if we get rejected here, we go back down to 306. Then we have 298, 289, and then the fair value gap at 250. If we retake 320, get back on top at 328, our technical target's $3.61 in the short. A little bit farther out is 420, and farther out than that would be 549. And ultimately, if we can hit the maximum capacity, is 679. The 549 was my target. 679 has been formed out of this recent 6 or 8 month consolidation. So be blessed, everybody. I'm so happy you all were in here. I'm really happy you were all in here. Bitcoin broke back over 118. Remember what this means. We could be pushing that target of 126. This could be a rising triangle instead of a rising wedge, remember. And the caveat there is if this panned out, we could go to 143. Yes, we've hit my bull market territory target of Bitcoin. But all targets, once they're hit, if there's new consolidation, have to be viewed, have to be considered. So my 122 target, yes, it was met, and we're under it, and that was my target for this bull market when the cup and handle was developing. We didn't know what the handle would look like, but we just, same forward thinking I had with Bitcoin and XRP is the same I showed you with Algo and IOTA and HBAR and all these, XYO and DAD, all of them, the ones we forward think. That's the same thing I did with Bitcoin and Ethereum, all of them. All of them. It's the same damn thing. And just some are playing out. So 143 would be the rising wedge if it's actually a triangle target, which I think it could be a triangle. That's what we were saying before, but we had to consider if it was a wedge as well. So those are your lower targets, but I'm hopeful we push up. So ladies and gentlemen, based on popular demand, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sun. Actually, we need to move this over. We got to give him his own space. We got to give him his own space. He doesn't deserve to be with anybody else. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me do it one more time. I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sun. Sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see. a motherfucking thing. Happy days, oh happy days, oh what a day, oh happy days, oh what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we won't and we can and we may and we will and we won't and we did and we can and we will. Oh yeah. Stay true. Stay blessed. Stay away from the noise. And don't forget to be part of this actual alt season, folks. Don't miss it out because of the micro. This is not going to be like 2025 or 2021. This is going to be more like 2017, and eventually by 2032, Bitcoin gets the kibosh. Be blessed, everybody. Be safe.